Every week the NCAA would change the rules, you know, for the things that they were doing. Then every week we would go to my house. We would go sit up there and come up with another rule, like take your helmet off, tell them to kiss your ass. And here we go. Lamar Thomas taking his helmet off.
Lamar Thomas.
That's a new rule. You can't take your helmet off.
Welcome back to the OGs, a Playmaker original presented by DraftKings, and we got the OG of all OGs in the building today.
Legend.
Man, listen.
Legend.
Someone who not just changed the game, but shook up the system and helped redefine what freedom of speech means in music, a pioneer, a trailblazer. That shirt says it all.
Yes, sir.
Bun Buns. Uncle Luke in the building. Appreciate you, big dog.
Hey, man, thank y'all for having me, man.
Appreciate you coming, OG, man. This means a lot to me. I know you got a busy schedule. I know you got a lot going on. We're going to tap into that because there's so many layers to you. And we're going to start at the beginning, but we're going to make sure we get through all these layers so people understand how not important that you are just to hip-hop and to the history of hip-hop, but how important you are as to the South Florida community as a whole and what you represent. So appreciate you coming.
Hey, man, appreciate you inviting me. You know, anytime you call, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
Appreciate
what it
you.
is.
We got Mike on the set today. Mike got a lot of questions.
I know some of these answers.
So Luke, before we start this, I got to let you know I'm from South Dakota, okay?
South who?
South Dakota. That's right. South Dakota.
Okay, I don't know what that says.
So when I ask the ignorant ass questions, because I want the story.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cut right to the chase. When you guys would go to do these shows and your song come on pop, like
pop what? Pop what? Thank you. Listen.
Like I'm excited now. So
they can bleep it out, but we gonna say it.
What's the crowd doing?
The crowd popping.
Yes, sir. Yes,
The girls are turned around, they bend over, and they drop it in like so. Most people nowadays y'all call it twerking, but we call it popping.
Shake
I don't know why I'm going to change the name, but I mean that's you know the older generation know it's popping that.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Doodle Brown, drop it like it's hot.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you. So that's the original, like when it all first started. Just tell me the idea behind it, because not only in the South but in Miami for sure, they ain't give us no love when it came to hip hop and the music. So just talk about when you and the homeboys, y'all sitting around, like where did it all start at? Where was the idea? Where did it originate? Where did it start?
Man, it all started, and that's a great question because most people don't ask that. Me as a DJ, I was a part of Ghetto Style DJs. We would play exactly. We play at Africa Square Park. We play at the dances and all that. And so I would I was pretty much one of the first people to bring down hip hop artists from New York to Miami because there was no such thing as hip hop in the South, period. You know,
nothing.
Nothing. No, I'm the creator.
That's crazy.
Hip-hop.
He is.
1985, this year, we're celebrating 40-year anniversary of Southern hip hop right now. So when we started, it's just me bringing these artists down and them telling me their horror stories. I brought down Run DMC, Tila Rock, Jam Master Jay, Divine Sound.
All down to Miami.
I would bring them down to play my parties.
Oh,
you know,
I bet the parties were crazy.
Yeah, all the parties was crazy. That's when it was an airline called People's Express. Y'all ever heard of that?
No, People's Express. That sound like Soul Plane.
Yeah. It sound like
that shit does sound like Soul Plane.
People's Express.
People's Express.
That's dope.
Wow.
See, your old man probably know about that. You know, the old folks know about that. I mean, it was crazy because People's Express, you would get on the airplane and pay your money at that time.
Oh,
so
damn.
you hop on the plane and then the stewards come around and then they collect the money.
Oh, wow.
So I would put these artists on the plane from New York and all that stuff like that. And when they come down here, obviously they didn't have no money. They would hop on the plane and me and the police standing at the door and bringing them in like, oh, I got the money right here. Y'all come on perform, because I wasn't about to send them the money. So basically it started from
the
there.
money, they wouldn't showed up.
Yeah, and then, 2 Live Crew came down from California. At the time, I didn't know they were in the military. I would, in our dances, we would create these dances. We would create, like Ghetto Nasty. The first song we created was Everybody Ghetto Jump, Jump, Jump. So that was really the first hip hop song in the South. And then them dudes, I said, man, do a free show for me. They were like, nah, we're hot now. And I was like, so Throw the D, we were doing that dance, and the girls were doing Throw the P. In the dance, you feel me?
Yes, sir.
I want to hear the finish of that, though. So what happened?
So again, 2 Live Crew came down, and I was like, they were like, man, we want to do some music. I didn't want to do no.
So you're just a DJ, business. Sheer DJ.
I'm just straight DJ. Yeah. I'm doing big parties, making a lot of money, up under the table, and so, I just did the record. We say, look, let's go in the studio and do a record. And I tried to take it around to different people. They were like, no, ain't no hip hop in the South. It never happened. And so we just started playing it at the parties.
No hip hop, and that's crazy.
Yeah, they were not having it.
Literally, because you was from the South, that was what you got to play. They don't even want to hear it because it's from the South.
They want to hear it. Yeah, I'd send the record to, New York, different record companies. Like, there's no such thing as hip hop in the South. Bammers, y'all country ass. They call us everything in the book. You feel me? And so at the end of the day, I took it personal.
Hell
I was like, this, I'm gonna put the record out. And then I went to these gangsters, started distributing it myself, putting it in the trunk, and go to the Flea.
Yes,
go to the Flea.
The Flea.
Flea market. Exactly.
Got a T-shirt for the Flea.
Hey, so we selling it, and then all the Miami. What most people don't know is considered a breakout market. Because so many tourists come here. Yeah, so music is played, and then people take it back to wherever they're from. Yeah. Then the college students from here go to a different city, and they'll be like, play out. They'll be in the party, and then before you know it, just starts spreading like wildfire.
Is that when you started Luke Records, or was that later on?
Yeah, I started Luke Records 85 years ago. Yep. Not 85 years, 40. In 1985.
1985.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's how it started.
Yeah, that's how I started with that one record. In order for me to get paid for that record, they told me, oh, young fella, you got to do another record. I'm like, what the fuck? I was thinking I'm just going to do this and get my money and be out of there.
Time, you spending all your bread.
I'm spending my own money.
You backing you pushing everything.
Yep, taking my money that I made, doing dances and like that. And I ended up, I got to do an answer, because back then, everybody did an answer to every record.
Yes.
And so we did the answer, Throw the P. I got my niece and a couple of her little friends.
Yeah.
And before you know, we went in and did that song. They didn't know nothing. They were like, what the you trying to do? Just sing this, right? I got to get my money for the other. And before you know, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I like this. Yeah. This is better than doing all this street I'm doing.
So when did, obviously, because you brought 2 Live Crew, they came from California to perform. And at that time, you was a DJ. But when did you decide to collaborate Uncle Luke and the 2 Live Crew? Like when did all of that?
Yeah, I mean, right then, it was, like I say, they came down at the right time that this one group did not want to do a free show for me.
So all this kind of happened right at
and then it was like,
you like, I do it.
Yeah, we'll do another song. You don't want to, y'all whoop me on that song, so we ended up doing Throw the D, and before you know it.
And how was the city responding to it? I know how we was responding when Throw That Dick came on. You in the living room and you and your cousins dancing.
Yeah.
But just talk about how the city responded to you.
Oh man, people loved it, because the thing about our music is heavily bass driven. What most people don't know, we're a melting pot.
Yes.
We got Haitians, Jamaicans, Bahamians, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, and the music, everything is up tempo. Yeah. Most people think we country, we the South. Yeah, we're a long way from that. I tell people that
we don't ride horses around here. I hate that man.
Exactly.
That's where we don't ride horses around here. Like, that's somewhere else. Like, I don't know what part of the South you talking about, but that ain't here. We don't ride horses.
It is not here under no circumstance. So the music had to be what we were about. You know what I'm saying? The music had to be heavily bass driven, because, when I DJ'd, I had 64 speakers.
Say it again.
64.
That's a real jam.
Yeah, that's a real jam.
That's how we used to jam back in the day. Killing the whole block. 15, everybody be outside.
That's right. Gotta have a wall.
beat went on.
Yes,
I bet that place.
yeah,
went, yeah.
imagine the whole block, everybody outside, and all these speakers booming, DJing.
I can't
kids,
imagine it. I told you before.
everybody. It's a vibe.
I told you
killer.
I can't
This is what
imagine
we
because I
grew
wanted
up
to be there. Look, we supposed to be there together, bro.
Yeah, you missed out.
I know.
I don't know. You ain't get the memo.
on. Straight up. Listen, no, all aside though. Listen, I done seen everything but the wind down here, bro. Like I tell people all the time, and this is what I told you earlier. Club, that was just a gathering place for us. Before we done got to we done fellowship for 2 hours talking about the day.
Exactly.
This just a regular thing for us. We ain't even seen the naked women yet. We ain't even noticed them. We just fellowshipping. Oh, after 2 hours, now it's some naked. Oh, here go the ass. Like,
Exactly.
But it's just the culture, man. It's nothing.
And people don't realize that. That's what it's all about with us. We go to other places and be like, people be amazed at how we live down here. And that's what inspired me, even with that album cover when I created that.
That's what I'm saying. You have a marketing bag, like that's
it was like, man,
it's perfect for down here. It's perfect for that record too.
Yeah. People, I knew that again. Now I'm spending this money out of my own pocket.
Yeah. But now, as things are going along, obviously there's issues, there's roadblocks. Like anything worth having in life is worth fighting for.
Yes, sir.
So you end up being in a position not just fighting for your music, but fighting for your life.
Exactly.
And people talk about standing on business and 10 toes down or some shit. Like this real.
This is after you put out Nasty You Wanna Be. Is that what kind of started that? Or what started that? Because what he's talking about when you had to fight for the basically freedom of speech.
So it kind of all started at the same time because number one is this adult rap music coming from Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And kids, it wasn't until the white kids started listening to this.
So that's so it was okay when it was the black kids.
Killing people.
So it was when it got to South Dakota.
So my mom and dad complained.
Got to South Dakota, that's when it was a problem.
When they heard Killer playing this shit in there, then I got phone calls.
Damn you, mom and dad.
Exactly. Yeah, they gonna write letters. Hello, are you guys can't be playing this? Killer is in here playing the pop that with an album cover with black bitches on it.
That sounds just
that's
like
when I got in trouble.
That's what you are. We are. Damn right. That's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
When it got to South Dakota, that's when it went down.
Exactly. Then the letters start coming in. That's when.
So wait a minute. You're getting letters personally from parents, or letters from record labels are coming to you?
No, parents. Because
parents writing you directly. You really took the time to write a letter.
Exactly. Keep in mind, I own the record label. I own every part of it. I'm distributing, I'm manufacturing, I'm producing, I'm doing the whole
this is unheard of back in the day for a black man to own everything, distribute, produce, all that shit. This is unheard of.
Yep.
85.
Yeah, 85.
Wasn't happening.
No. And the only reason why is because we were from Miami, and it was a forbidden thing. If you're not from New York, then you cannot be doing hip hop. And so when they started coming after me, you're getting all these letters and then PTAs and all that, and then that's when I created that sticker right there, the Parental Advisory sticker.
I vividly remember that. I mean that sticker right there.
You weren't focused on that.
No, I wasn't. But
exactly
exactly right.
Ham.
Exactly right. I was focused on the ham, no question.
Yes, sir.
But I remember that was you guys starting that.
Yeah, what I did is I took the idea from the movies, movies. NC-17 and like that. And I started getting all this heat that I'm selling this adult content to people. And then that's when we created the clean versions. And then I said, okay, I'm going to put this sticker on the dirty versions so that the record stores can identify.
So the explicit stickers.
Exactly.
You started that.
Yeah, I started that.
Genius.
Yeah, and then how that work, OG? We don't get paid for that? We don't do
these hijacked it.
Damn, because everybody do it now.
Yeah, I should have copywritten that.
Damn.
I got hijacked. You got hijacked, Luke.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Basketball fans, it's win or go home time. The NBA Conference Championships are here and the intensity is off the charts. Every possession matters, and there's still time to get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Here's the deal. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Pick your side, place your bet, and get ready to cash in. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up using code OGs. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $300 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. If sports betting is not available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's promo code OGs only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Now you know we only mess with the realest here on the OGs podcast. And when it comes to gin, the old G is no different. It's not the OG, it's the old G. It's not just smooth and bold. It's black owned and crafted with the same authenticity and excellence we celebrate on this very show. The gin goes down easy with no burn, no bite, and no bitter taste. Just real, authentic flavor. Distilled 9 times, the Old G delivers the smoothest experience, whether you're just sipping it neat, it's on the rocks, or with a simple mixer. This gin does not need anything extra. So whether you're kicking it back after a long day or celebrating those wins, the Old G is the drink that brings people together. Just like the stories we share right here on the OGs, it's more than a gin. It represents community, culture, and the OGs who've paved the way. Go grab yourself a bottle, sit back, and toast it to the OGs in your life. And as always, drink responsible. The Old G Gin. Pour one out.
Fellas, I'm talking to y'all one more time. Nobody likes to wait. None of us. I can't stand being in traffic. I can't stand waiting for my coffee. I hate waiting to get off work. So why would I make my woman wait? I don't even wait in line. I get out and leave. Can you imagine if my woman was waiting on me and she walked out the house and left? So don't make her wait. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Have that roast box in your pocket, have it in your glove compartment, have it in your wallet, wherever you need it. But boy, you need to stay hard. Fellas, take control of your sex life. Dominate your bedroom. She might never tell you, but she love it when you run the show. Roast Box is a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon against that wet noodle. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under the tongue. And getting hard faster means there's no more waiting to perform, baby. Roast Box gives you the boost to last longer, and everyone gets more pleasure and climaxes more. Y'all definitely gonna have to hydrate at the end. Ro connects you with medical providers 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. If approved, treatment shipped directly to your door. No, it ain't coming in a bow, but you got that Ro. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with your provider at ro.co/OGs to find out if prescription Ro Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/OGs for $15 off your first order.
UD.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. UFC 316 in Newark, New Jersey on June 7th. Who you going with, bro?
Are you kidding me?
You're going with Sugar Shane O'Malley?
God, first of all, listen.
He's plus 230.
First of all.
Oh, my God. He's the champ. Oh, yeah, you playing the champ. Oh, yeah.
First of all, I don't even know what Georgia that is.
Yeah, it's going to be.
What Georgia
that's
is that?
Georgia over the water,
No,
Georgia.
that ain't Atlanta, Georgia.
No, that's not Atlanta, Georgia. No.
I'm going with O'Malley.
That's a country of
And
Georgia.
I like his hair. So I'm going with him.
Hey, I tell you
And
what.
he's an ass kicker. I
He
know
is
that
an
for a
ass kicker.
show.
I will say this.
Boy, he usually braid that to the back.
Yeah.
Like me, I used to have my braids to the back. I already know that.
We're both going on a limb because I'm going with Sugar Shane too.
How's that on the limb, man? He's an ass kicker.
He is an ass kicker, but he is a big dog. He's a big dog. Plus 230.
Killer, listen, it's all the way to June 7th. We got time to plan to go to this fight.
Yeah, no, we should go to this fight.
We should go to this fight.
Everybody should go to this fight.
We should go to this
But if you're
fight.
not on the fight, you should go to
But if
DraftKings.
we go,
Even if you're at the fight, you should go to
pay
DraftKings.
for the tickets.
I'll pay for the tickets.
So both of us going Sean O'Malley
Yep.
on this. What about the next one? Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison.
It looks like it's there's no line on it. There's no
They
line
both
on these
look
ones.
like they will eat your lunch.
Yeah, they do. I don't want no action. How would coming home late from that one?
I tell you
Hey,
right
babe,
now,
I'm
I ain't
running
throwing my
15
wife in the ring
Hey,
with neither one of them.
Hey, babe.
I ain't throwing my wife in the ring with neither one of
Hey,
them.
babe,
I
I'm
tell you
running.
that.
Hey, babe, I'm running 30 minutes late for dinner.
No, sir. We got to jump their ass. We can't. My wife is not getting in the ring with neither one of them. No, sir. It's a collective effort.
For right now, we're going with Sean O'Malley plus 230. That is UFC 316 on June 7th in Newark, New Jersey. DraftKings Sportsbook. Go there now.
Kayla.
You going Kayla Harris?
He looks just a little tougher.
Kayla Harrison's up minus 600.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
I told you she looked a little meaner.
she did look mean. She looked minus 600 mean.
Okay, you want to go back to that?
No, I think we're good.
I'm going Kayla Harrison.
I like
Killer.
Harrison.
And I didn't know about the odds. I just know she looked tough
Go promo code OGs. Go bet futures on UFC 316.
So now, fast forward, you go into it now. We talking about going to court, getting real. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got to stand on business. You know what I'm saying? Now, talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to, whatever, but it's a whole nother thing when you got to go sit in front of that judge and we in the courtroom and all that kind of. That's a whole different conversation. A lot of people don't take it that far. A lot of, you know what? I settle. I don't even want to go that far with it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Are you thinking I'm doing this for myself? Because this is what I believe in, or did you know at that time the whole hip-hop universe and the whole culture is on your back? Or was you just thinking about yourself? Did you understand, like, this is actually going to impact hip-hop forever?
When I originally, because I'm always, I'm like, look, I ain't came from, we stayed in Liberty City 2-bedroom house, with 5 of us, 7 of us, mom, dad, brothers and all that. And then, I'm making this money, and then I'm looking at it like, we've always been taught to fight for whatever you believe in. You feel me? So then while they were coming after me, it was like, all right, y'all picked the right, because, I knew, I'm a history junkie when it comes, from when you think about the struggle, I'm really deep into that. So I knew at some point they were going to come after me because it came from different places. It came from, it came from the industry itself because, when you're selling records in markets that they expect those sales to go to people that put money in, you fucking up the matrix for them. Okay. So you got the industry coming after us, and then, you got these political figures using us as pawns in the game when they get ready to run for office. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that stop 2 Live Crew. And then, you had one situation where Janet Reno was one, state attorney.
Yeah, I know Janet Reno. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why I made
my sister tell me, I'm gonna call Janet Reno.
Yeah, call Janet Reno.
Call Janet Reno. Tell her baby daddy I would call Janet Reno. Yeah.
She was running for office, and we did a song glorifying her, like the same thing, based on what you said your sister was saying. And then she was running against this other guy, and then the other guy took offense to it, and then he just went on this crusade of writing letters to different municipalities saying that this music should be banned. And eventually, this, bloodthirsty Nick Navarro, who created all these cop shows, and, he then took on it and went to one of the stores and then, locked the guy up for selling the record. And then,
wait a minute, somebody got locked up for selling your record?
Yeah, 2 places. Yeah, this guy named Friedman in Fort Lauderdale.
I didn't even know you could lock up
for selling that album there.
Really?
Yeah, and so, long story short, they, federal judge deemed the album obscene.
Yes.
And so I then had to go in and go back in and get it overturned, reversed on appeal, which I did.
And how long was that?
That was, it took about a year and a half. And so if I would have left the album to be obscene, which I could have, and I wasn't going to jail, then everything that people are doing right now today, they wouldn't be able to do it because it would set precedent where any municipality, any jurisdiction could say, okay, well, this album with this type of content was explicit, so we deemed it obscene. They could have deemed everything that you hear.
And it's just their opinion too, based on there's no rules.
Yeah, they would use that as case law.
For that year and a half, were you able to sell that record or?
Well, not necessarily, but we did. And then that's what brought on the other case, because I was like, y'all, you just said.
Moved out of the trunks of cars, huh?
I went down the street and did a show.
Yeah.
I did a show right down the street.
Right. And by the way, the record in the back of that caddy over there.
And they still popping that pussy.
Exactly.
They ain't gonna stop.
They ain't gonna stop. So I did a show down the street, then they put me in jail.
No way.
For singing the song. Yeah. And then
So they came to arrest you at the show?
At the show, they were there.
Wow. So that's like the same what we see when they talk about the story when you watch the NWA story.
Yeah.
And you watch they told them not to sing a certain song, and they sang it and they locked their ass up immediately. You dealt with the same.
Yeah, same.
Was it Pop That Pussy?
It was every one of them songs.
Hey, we want some
head,
head, and more. I'm like, how the y'all gonna lock me up for singing head, more head? And everybody love head.
Getting head every day out here. Like
Exactly.
ain't nobody doing.
The guy locking you up trying to get
out
too.
here. There's a lot of head out here.
Hey, the guy locking you up wanted to now. The guy
He probably got some head that night too. Everybody lock his ass.
Exactly right.
That's crazy.
Hey, Luke, I hate doing this to you. I caught me some head this morning.
Yeah.
Locking you.
I'm gonna go turn myself in.
Exactly. And no, actuality, it is against the law. It's called a sodomy law. Unless you're married in the state of Florida, you don't supposed to get head. You can go to jail.
What?
They ain't got enough jails.
You know that.
They ain't got enough jails in South Florida, Coach.
Wait a minute. Well,
they ain't got enough jail cells in South Florida.
Everybody back there up like, huh?
that's crazy.
Yeah, look it up. Google.
But all aside, no, because I want to talk about that. And it's funny that you say that, but you know the law.
Yeah, I think
Like you know the
a
law,
little bit about
and
it.
I tell people that all the time. It's like when I've had a couple issues here and there, but at the end of the day, when you know the law, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
You don't have nothing to worry about.
You know what I'm saying? So where did the freedom of speech play come from? Because you could have went back and forth and said, no, I can say what I want to say. This is my album, but you hit them with the freedom of speech. This is like you hit them with the political, like you use it against them, but you know the law. Like just talk about that, being able to know the law and all that.
Right.
Like that.
I mean, and that
Was that your lawyer? Is that you? Is that street smarts?
I learned it from a great lawyer named Bruce Rogo. So at the same, like I was saying, one record deemed obscene, I'm getting that reversed over in court. Then I go to jail. Now I got to go to court for that. At the same time, I got this case called Acre Rose versus Me, which was where the parody was protected by the First Amendment, which was free speech. So I'm going all the way up to the Supreme Court with that case. At the same time, so as I'm going through each one of these cases, I'm always wanting to know exactly what's going on, how it's transpiring. I don't just say, lawyers, do your business and keep it moving. You know, I'm always going to be involved in the actual process.
Sure.
And so that whole case was about free speech, whether you were able to say the shit you want to say on records, whether you were able to do parodies. You know, if I'd have lost that case, everything that you see on the internet right now is considered as intellectual property would have been out. All the things that you see on Saturday Night Live would have been dead. People wouldn't have been comedians wouldn't have been able to make fun, do parodies of other people and all that. So it was a real significant case.
All for some pussy.
All for some pussy. Well, you know, as we look at it right now, I know the world was going in a different direction, and I was keeping it right there.
Well, you know, they do say pussy will stop a train. So
yes, it was. It's undefeated, by the way.
It is undefeated. So it is undefeated, killer. 99-0.
You ain't lying.
Especially it's undefeated.
I mean, when you just think about the things going on today, it's still undefeated.
Yeah, talking about pussy being undefeated.
It will get you in trouble.
Talk to me about Freaknik.
Freaknik.
I never had a chance to go.
Really?
My auntie used to pack up, my aunties and all that used to pack up and head their ass up to Freaknik, and I ain't never. They used to leave.
Hold up.
Jamel, you made it. Cousin ain't make it either.
Damn, Jamel, you ain't make it?
Hey, look.
Jamel came in here with a lady. He lying. I got the video, Jamel. He came in here with this woman. He was like, hold on, I can't be saying I was that.
Lying ass. Hey, so paint the picture, man. What? Because we weren't there. Freaknik. Where's it at? What's it like? Give me this. Yeah, I got.
I seen the documentary too.
No,
by
I
the
have
way,
too.
Man.
And you, by the way,
they gave you your flowers.
Executive producer of Freaknik.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell of a documentary.
But I want you to paint the picture, man. Like, because like that's the type of I need. Well, Freaknik. Give me Freaknik.
I'll give you the politically correct. Yeah. Well, not necessary. So they were having this thing in Atlanta called Freaknik. It's a good story. Y'all gonna appreciate this story right here.
I can't wait.
So they were having this party and they said Freaknik. And so now again, I'm the king of all freaks. Around the country, we freaking everywhere we go. We going to jail. All the thing I'm doing is taking this Miami on the road. I'm taking Rolex on the road. That's basically what
Rolex.
I'm doing.
Shout out Rolex.
So we freaking all over the place, and we just doing what we did. So now I heard the Freaknik in Atlanta. What? I'm not invited. So eventually I ended up saying, well, I invite my goddamn self.
Yes, sir.
We went on down got the biggest suite in Atlanta at the Nico Hotel at the time. I don't know what they call it right now. Yeah. And we're going to do a video here.
What year is this, by the way? Hold on. I want to hear the story.
Man, now you got me. Had to be around 90.
I think it said, if I'm not mistaken, when I was watching the thing,
or something like that.
Yeah,
so it was. So I'm shooting a video. I got a whole video and Freaknik 19, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. I'm in the suite. I got the crystal balls coming out the water, and the girls in there. We having a big ass party. We got helicopters flying around us. Then we go out to the club and just turn them on. Like, give me the mic, you get naked in here. Everybody getting naked.
The teenage unmarried version of me.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Lord have mercy.
We end up at 112. Everybody get naked. We end up in the hotel room. Hey, so
look,
Killer, let me tell you something. No, Killer, listen, this is what I'm going to tell you, man. I'm going to tell you this is what I know, not what I think. I done been on the stage with Flo Rida when he performed in Vegas at his residence. It's different than being a basketball player on the court when you go on stage with them. It's a whole different ball game, Killer. I ain't saying I partake.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a whole different ball game when you standing on that stage.
I just got so much respect for a person that goes somewhere and say, take your clothes off, everyone just does it. So
they literally hanging on your every word.
Exactly.
They're singing, they're reacting on your every word. It's a different kind of control.
Yep.
Like it's a different vibe.
You gotta get the people what they want.
Yeah. You do gotta get it. All right, so now.
If you're singing the song Head, More Head, eventually you get on stage, you gotta get some head, right?
Yeah. I don't see why not.
I did that in Japan.
I don't see why not.
Oh my goodness.
My last show.
In Japan.
I was like, give me some head.
In Japan?
On stage.
See, now I want to go to Japan for something else, but if that's what they doing in Japan, man, wow. Japan. Japan.
But I want you to finish this Atlanta story, the Freaknik story. So you go from you're doing basically a video.
Right.
And then do a club.
Then we do a club. And then we go back to the hotel room.
And tell everybody get naked.
And it's, and we had this thing, if you ain't freaking, we ain't speaking.
Ooh. If you ain't
I never
freaking,
did
we
that
ain't
song.
speaking.
If you ain't sucking, we ain't.
Oh, if you ain't sucking, we ain't. If you ain't freaking, we ain't speaking.
See,
man, that's.
What is this show sponsored by?
Today's going to be sponsored by Rose Sparks.
Bro, exactly. All the Rose Sparks on deck today, Jack. You need it.
So Freaknik should have been sponsored by Rose Sparks.
Heck of the party where y'all go really
appreciate.
Yeah, that's all natural now.
Hey, put that on the BBL. That's all natural.
Look at that. Look at the babies.
That's all natural.
Look at the babies.
So one Freaknik, Dr. Tucker, you remember Dr. Dr. Tucker? So one Freaknik, Dr. Tucker say, I got this young guy, man, he wants to go to the Freaknik. And Dr. Tucker, because I know Tuck from Steve Smith. And
Smitty, shout out Smitty.
Yeah.
That's my dog, man. That's my dog.
Tuck comes and say, man, I got to take this guy, man. I'm trying to get this guy to sign up with me. And it was Big Dog, Glenn Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
so
Big Dog.
He goes to, them two go to Freaknik with me, and the rest is history. They ended up in the closet. Big Dog ended up in the closet. He never came to the freak party. Tuck sitting on the couch. Thank you. I just signed this. Next thing you know, this mother asked for $100 million. Michael Jordan was like, who the asking for $100 million? And I'm like, oh, Freaknik got him. So Glenn Robinson got signed up by Freaknik.
Breaking news.
He signed up to his agent. He thought his agent was a G.
I'm an agent now. Can we start Freaknik back up?
You are an agent, Killer. This is who you need to talk to.
No doubt.
Because I'm happy because this segue into a lot of other shit because that was just one thing. But before that, like you was the man when it came to UM.
Yeah.
When it came to UM, so now. But before Big Dog signed with his agent to be,
exactly.
We talk about when you talk about coming to University of Miami, you talking about playing for the U. you ain't worried about who the coach was. You knew you was gonna be with Uncle Luke first and foremost. And now the jacket, I got that jacket in my closet, by the way. That jacket I got that
fire.
same jacket that you be wearing. But just talk about your influence on the University of Miami and that too as well, because you talked about the big dog, but before that, motherfuckers come to UM because of your influence and your impact.
I mean, it was at the same time, like, I'm always a UM fan. When I was a kid, played football, brother would take me to the games. We'd get beat out of us 100-0 by all these. I'm sitting up there crying as a little jit. And then, and so now when I'm doing this music, UM is not good at the time. And I'm like, I'm going to put the school, we're going to put that U jacket on. So then we eventually end up putting the jacket on. And so same time, now it's become a surge of them. So they the bad guys, we're the bad guys. And we took on this life of, it's us against the world, because again, it's us doing hip hop in the South, which we ain't got no business doing. Hated us, when we became successful. I mean, literally hated us. We would have to go to concerts and fight other rap groups. And
for real?
That. Yeah.
We're gonna get into that too.
It was deep, and so UM having the same issue, and so before you know it, all these dudes, Melvin Bratton, Tobin Baines, you name it.
Baines.
Yeah, Baines.
Yeah, Baines.
All them guys, they would Jerome Brown. And so we all would just sit down and have conversations about, don't like me and then don't like them. And, UM is not supposed to be mentioned with the Notre Dame.
Called us convicts. That's what they call you. They call UM convicts.
So that's why you saw them. They basically took the life of what we were doing.
They basically took 2 Live Crew and took
it. They were nasty.
They cleaned it up a little bit and put it on like they came.
No, they ain't clean it up.
They ain't clean it up.
Just doing this in the front of my like
throwing that D and all that.
Throwing that D on my head. No, they ain't clean it up.
They ain't clean it up.
Going into the game, man. Y'all. So we would sit there every day.
You had to love it. You had to love that.
Oh, I was.
I bet you did.
And they was winning.
And they was winning.
They were gangsters. That was awesome.
It was like, man, the world. All these. No, it was crazy. Every week the NCAA would change the rules, for the things that they were doing. Then every week we would go to my house before they go get locked up on Friday. We would go sit up there and come up with another rule, like, take your helmet off. Tell them to kiss your ass. And here we go. Lamar Thomas taking his helmet off.
Lamar Thomas.
Then go to the new rule. You can't take your helmet off. So the shit was crazy. We did so much wild. But
that was before they had the word swag. That was before they had the word swagger.
Yeah.
But the U,
man, that when they came out there with fatigues on and it was fire.
Yeah. And you saw them all with the bandana.
Yeah.
I had the bandana doing the show, so they was like, let's wear the bandana. So everybody came in the office, they got the bandana. You see Ray Lewis with the bandana.
Ray.
You see, Warren Sapp with the bandana.
It was so fire.
Listen to the names he naming.
I know.
This is the names that he naming. I mean, over the years, the impact that you've had on UM football, and obviously a lot of those guys got to go to the next level, man. And I know for sure how I feel when I see you and how much respect I pay. But when you see those guys, and to this day, they still got the utmost respect, and there's still so much love for you and what you did for them, what you did for the community. You know what I'm saying? What you represent. Just tell me how that feel. Because you ain't do it for that.
No.
You did it because that's the type of person you are.
Yeah.
But to look back to see the impact that you had on some of these guys, man, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel good. I mean, because, again, you got to remember, a place like Coral Gables is no different than Miami Beach. Miami Beach, you couldn't be on the beach after 6 if you were black. You go to jail. And that was similar to the same thing in Coral Gables. So when them dudes started going to Coral Gables, it wasn't like, okay, all right, y'all come, we're going to win some games. They had struggles over there also. And that's why I kind of got, linked up with them, was like, man, y'all got an opportunity to do some good, get an education here, better your future and all that. So that was more of a mentoring thing for me with them. Yeah. And so every year a new group would come in, and just like you say, guys would be recruited. I'll come have a conversation with them, take them to a party, the ones that you miss, and they would end up, I like it here. I know that I don't want to go to North Dakota or nowhere.
You took it to the Rolex?
Whoa, we took them on the grand tour.
You took them on the
It was
grand
like,
tour.
do you want to go to some other? like this. See, he escaped and went to Gainesville
Yeah.
because he lived here.
Yeah, I had to.
But think about motherfucker
No.
from Gainesville
Come on.
to here.
Come on, man.
And then I take him on a grand tour.
Yeah.
I never missed on the recruit. So
I never missed on
You
recruit.
said Steve Smith name, but a lot of NBA guys, when they come to Miami, they with you.
yeah,
Like a lot, I've heard like a lot, man, my man Uncle Luke used to take care of me when I was down in Miami. Like now you have those relationships as well that you've been able to like establish, and respectfully, all these guys holler at you. Like, once again, this all started from you just rapping and standing up for what you believe in. Now you talk about Steve Smith and all these different guys, man. Just talk about that because I know it from what I seen, but the world need to know how everybody see Uncle Luke.
right. Hey man, all them dudes, man. Like I had a thing with the Heat, right? If you got drafted here, I would have to take them around and show them the city because the city will eat your mother ass up.
Yes, sir.
Right. Keith Askin,
K.A.
Bimbo Coles,
Bimbo.
and all them boys. Yeah, see, them
Them
dudes
dogs, they
right
used to
there.
talk about you all the time.
Exactly, yeah, man. Them dudes. So I would get them dudes some kind of way because I had a club on the beach, Luke's Miami Beach, right? And get them in. Hey, look. First of all, we got it. I had this thing with them. You get drafted. Let me see how many shots you could take. See if you really bought that life. And then I would take them on a whole grand tour and say, this place don't go.
Yeah.
This place don't go. I remember the same thing with the last guy I did it with was D-Wade.
Yes.
D-Wade came in, he had his white T-shirt on and had his hat backwards, green-ass shorty from Marquette. Come on, man. Let me take you around. Don't go here. Don't go here.
Green-ass shorty
Don't
from
fuck
Marquette.
with this. When you go to this club, leave that in there. Take them all around and look, don't do this. Don't go here. If you got to go this direction, so all them dudes, man. And then, over the years, whether it was Sam Cassell, Nick
Sammy.
Van Exel,
By the way, we laugh about it, but that's valuable information.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like the most valuable information you can give somebody.
sure.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Where
we
not
laugh
to
about
go.
it, it's funny, ha ha, he. That's valuable information for people.
Real shit.
Yeah, you
Because
can
like
go-
you said, a lot of cities, but Miami will eat you up now.
Oh, it would eat you up.
You take a left instead of a right.
Man, I done seen it eat a whole lot of people come up
Man.
here with high expectations. Not just sports, but entertainment.
100%.
They think, these eat your ass
Man, for
alive.
sure.
The lifestyle to have you out all night long. And so, that's how I kind of became friends with a lot of all them dudes, DC and, what it was, Weber, all them dudes. I knew all them dudes.
DC,
We
name some real
vibe.
OGs, man.
Yeah,
real
yeah.
OGs, solid dudes too.
Yeah, real good dudes. And when I would go to their city, they look out and things like that. No matter who it was in sports, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm rapping about you want to come to the party. Everybody want to come to the show.
don't wanna hear that?
Like you said before we got out here, the reason you picked that avenue to rap in because it has no limits, has no age limit.
Back then it was no cars on that highway. I was just flying doing 110.
No cars on the highway. I
felt
like
I
that.
was
No cars on the highway.
No cars on the
car.
highway.
I don't like traffic. So give me a lane where I ain't got to be riding no traffic.
No one else was talking about
yeah.
at the time.
And everybody loved it.
Yes, sir.
Everybody
Ain't that
loved
the
it.
truth? Ain't
Yeah.
that the truth? Now this segues into, because you touching on so many things that kind of just segue into something. The community, obviously, because when we talked about Liberty City and we talked about the Liberty City Warriors and just all these youth groups my son started playing in. Your impact on the youth all the way up into the high school level and how invested you are on that. You know what I'm saying? You don't just put your money, you put your time, you put your effort. You're present. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people could throw money at shit and never show up and never be around. You're present. I want to talk about your impact in the community, you know what I'm saying? And just, my generation, we obviously know you, but this young generation really don't know you, but they do know you because you're there. You're present in the community, giving back. Let's talk about your impact in the community, man, what you do for the kids, coaching, all these different things, because there's so many layers to you.
Yeah, I mean, everything comes from my upbringing and my growing up. Me being a kid, it wasn't no organized football in Liberty City, so we had to get bused to Miami Beach, to Flamingo Park. So before you know it, you get bused over there, then you go to school over there. And I'm getting up as a kid, me and my other homeboys, we basically was going over there to make the sports better.
Yeah.
And so at the same time, I was like, man, ain't no kids should be, you don't have to do that.
I didn't even
their
know that.
community to go into somebody else's community. Even when they really don't want you, you got to be off the beach at 6 because you black.
I did not know that. So
Yeah.
Because obviously my pop's from the city. You know, I'm from the city. There was no sports or there was no football. You had to go to.
It was no football.
No football in Liberty City.
Right. So
Mind you, this is the bed of talent for football
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
So it was no football in Liberty City. Wow.
it was virtually none. You had a couple programs
Wow.
doing it, but they were not doing it at a very high level.
Okay.
You know, the beach was glossy. They would buy you shoes. You get you some brand new Pumas. You know, they go to the grocery store and you just pack. You know, they just made that glossy. You know, so all the best players ended up going over there. And, you know, we ended up, you know, doing what we had to do over there. So I always say when I make 2 cents over my lunch money, I'm gonna start a program on that level.
2 cents over lunch money.
And you know, my first check was buy an old girl a crib. Then the next check was start my youth program, Liberty City Optimists.
Yes.
You know, Sam Johnson, he had baseball. You know, Coach Sam
Yes,
came
no
and said,
Coach
"Hey
Sam.
man, you know, sponsor my baseball team." And I was like, on the one condition that I start football on the park. You know, it was like, okay, let's do it. And before you know it, we ended up starting football. The first day, it was crazy. Probably 1,000 kids came
bet.
out. Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
He was one of the first kids.
Ochocinco.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the first kids in the program. Edie Bo and all them
Edie
dudes.
Bo.
Edie Bo. So all them
Dog.
dudes.
Shout out Edie Bo.
Yeah, all them dudes ended up playing in the program when I first started it. And we went from there to you name it, man. I mean, it's like Devontae Freeman, Duke Johnson,
That's so
Levante
dope.
Davis,
That's so
You hear these names? You hear these names?
Kalijah Cansey, Tutu. I mean, it's
Tutu Atwell, like the list still
the
going
list
on,
goes
like from the
on and
old to
on
the
and
young.
on of
Yes.
kids that played in the program. His son, you know what I'm saying? We got politicians, we got doctors and lawyers and all kind of like that.
And mind you, when you get old like me, it's just a place for my age to fellowship while our kids go out there and
Exactly
play.
right.
I run into all my homeboys
Exactly right.
because it's just the next generation. Come out there and now you get a chance to meet all your homeboys and y'all hang out while y'all kids grow up together the same way y'all did, and it just continues to go.
full
Yeah,
circle.
it keep going, and you know, so along the way, I'm looking at a lot of our kids, you know, achieve greatness, and then I'm looking at a lot of kids come back, making a bunch of money and end up being broke. You know, it's like, oh, what we got to do right now, you know, and so then we started getting into representing kids, because like Friedman and Duke Johnson, we had them since they were like
Good for
8.
you.
It was
Yes.
like, man, we can't let them get fucked up
No
like
doubt.
this.
Yes.
And then we kind of represented them and
That's awesome.
made Friedman the highest paid running back in the NFL, and he was a 4th round draft pick, you know, and making all this money, you know. But the great thing about them, and we was doing it, you know, I don't pretty much like doing that side of the business. Is crazy, is mainly making sure that they do the right thing with their finances, and those dudes did that.
Good.
So you did obviously the Asian part too, obviously, and that was a family business.
Yes.
Yeah, and just talk about the family business as far as being an agent and representing these guys as you took it to another level, because there's another side of that part too. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't do it all by yourself, right?
Yeah, no. Me and the ex, you know, we decided, she was a lawyer. Like, look, you know this law thing, and you know, I know this athletic thing, this football and all this, and then we eventually end up coming together, you know, repping these dudes. But it was more just to help them not
Yes.
get caught up in the same cycle, because these are kids that jumping in the pool, you know, playing on my youth football team and all that, and that's how I got into it. You know, I always said, you know, my career died down, I'm gonna go back to the park and start coaching. And so Freeman and Duke and all them, you know, that was a part of one of my first teams that I coached, not necessarily the park. And it was crazy. So once I got the bug, I just stayed coaching. And
Yes.
right now I'm coaching to the day. So my first coaching job was 2003.
Yes.
And I don't even know how many years that is. And I'm a head coach at Miami Edison right now. But it's a good thing of being able to help these kids get in college, you know, and achieve dreams that they never would have been able to achieve.
But
You heard that, Killer?
Yeah.
Head coach.
I know, I love it. Head coaching.
Head coach.
You said when your career died down, but you're still doing show. You
I know.
that
that-
didn't die down.
I thought the was gonna be dead.
No, it's
And
still
then
there.
I go, I do some crazy, and Now the concerts is sold out again. Nah, yeah, I mean it's not dead at all.
That's what I say. You can't when your career
How
died.
the hell you managing
toured
that?
when
though?
I
How
was-
the hell you managing that? Coaching
Yeah.
and be able to still do your shows, and
know,
also
right?
you're a full-time father as well because you
Yep.
got a young man that plays sports, and I'm always following that. So just how are you managing all those things and making sure everything gets your best version? Because I know you don't want to slip nowhere.
I don't want to
You don't want to slip nowhere.
It's got to, it's got to be right. I mean, I guess that's the Jamaican part of me. You know, Jamaicans, we got 30,000 jobs, but we kind of manage all of them. But at the same time, you know, good part about it is my son played baseball, and that's not doing the same time football is.
Yes.
But you know, I have to manage what he does on a regular basis through the training and all that, and making sure he's taken care of right. You know, high school football, I got a great staff of dudes around
Yes.
me. We're able to navigate that. You know, and football is a year-round sport, but then there is off seasons of it. You know, in my youth program, I got a great team of people over there, Miss Yolanda and Mr. Tamika and all of them, and they run that with about 150 volunteers. And then, you know, I got, you know, great team in my film company, great team of people in the music company. So, you know, I try to work smart, not hard.
Yeah, that's right.
And I let people really manage and maintain, you know, the things that they're responsible for. And then I go out on the weekend and tour, and I make sure that all my high school games are on Thursday.
Okay.
So I go on the road on Friday and
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday, you know, if I got to go do shows, if I got to do anything like that. So I kind of have a good way of managing.
Shout out Edison too, by the way. My sister got kicked out from there.
Oh,
my
man.
grandma used to work there for a long period of time. So shout out Edison for that.
Oh,
Miami
your
Edison.
sister got kicked out?
Yeah.
She was tougher than you?
Way tougher.
Wow.
I tried to get my mama to send her to boarding school. Mama ain't listen to me.
Really?
She all right now though. She all right now though.
That's
She all right
good.
now. Yeah,
That's
she was all right. But yeah, man, shout out Miami Edison. Your coaching staff, like you just obviously you travel a lot, so you put a lot of trust in your coaching staff.
Yep,
You know
yep.
what I'm saying? So obviously some of the assistant coaches, you want to talk about your staff and some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Schools was at Carroll City.
Yeah, I know some of these guys. I know some of these guys. That's why I want you to give them their
Twan,
platform.
Twan, defensive coordinator. Twan, young guy. He a young up and coming
Yes.
coach. He defensive coordinator. So we try to mentor him. Coach E. You know, he does all the equipment and everything like that.
Yes.
And he coaches the receivers. So we got like a real good close niche group of guys that, you know, Coach Dudley, you know, he's that, you know, these guys are there for the kids.
Yes, I know all these guys. So that's why.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, they do it for the love of,
Yes,
of helping these young men achieve their goals. It ain't no money. You know, like we've been fighting for years to try and get coaches paid. Coaches,
That's the point I'm trying to make. This all out of love for the kids.
I mean, whether it's a basketball coach, a soccer coach, they get paid 13 cents a day in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
You know, in public schools, I mean, obviously in private schools, it's a lot different. But these dudes really genuinely do it for the love of the game. You know, and the greatest thing of all is when guys like UD stay here to then, you know, show that the world is, okay, it's really about Miami because, and that's what I love about this dude right here. He rep the city so hard.
does.
So many people get big and they leave, you know, and you don't understand the impact of staying, you know, and so that's why I really genuinely love what he does. No, I'm here, I rep here, I'm gonna inspire other people here, you know, because for many years, you know, you get big, okay, we're going to LA, I'm big time in LA, I'm in New York, big time in New York, and you don't realize that you lose a lot of people here. You know, hey, look, who's the next UD, who's the next Luke, and who's the next Pitbull, and who's the next this one, Ross, or whatever it may be, or Flo, you know, and so these guys have been able to, you know, inspire other generations of people from here.
But it's because of you, though. Obviously, you set you set the tone, and if any of us are watching, like I know we are, because we got a lot of pride down here.
Yes, we do.
We stick together. So the names you names, the Flow Riders, and you know myself, and you know we have an opportunity to watch you. And what you never did is you never stayed the same. You always continued to evolve. You always continued to grow. You always continue to step into other lanes that might not been as comfortable for you, but you set a tone and a pattern of being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that's what you've done. And that's why guys like myself can step out on faith and have conversations with mayors and politicians and different people, because we understand how far and the impact that can have in the city. But you started it first, the political side, because that was the hardest side for me.
Right.
To really sit down with politicians, because
Right.
I don't feel like they might have my best interests at heart. I don't feel like they might have the people's best interests at heart. But I was wrong, because once you sit down with a lot of them, and then you understand that they want some of the same things that you want,
Right.
but it takes like the faith of sitting down. But you did that first. How did you get into the politics and sitting down with the mayors and the commissioners and having just the confidence to have these conversations with these people? Because you did it first. We was able to do it after you, but that's not natural for us. It's not natural for somebody from Liberty City to go sit down in the mayor's office.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, I looked at, it's kind of started, again, everything from my upbringing, my uncle and my daddy, you know, talking politics, you know, me being a kid and them not letting me look at cartoons and read the newspaper and understand propaganda in the newspaper, understand propaganda on the news, and this politician, this party, this, you know, when you come from a Caribbean family, politics is a strong conversation, and you need to know it as a man. And so I understood my platform, and I'm selling millions of records, and you know, me and, you know, back then me and Cube and, you know, back when they were with NWA, we'd sit down and be like, man, we gotta do something better. We always holler and we rep the city, we rep our city, we rep our state, and we started thinking about it. We are actually representative of the people in our city and the people who buy, right? So why we just don't take on the role of being representatives? And so that's when we started all this voting, you know, rap the vote and all that stuff like that, and saying, okay, we're gonna go back home and get people involved in the political process, you know, to go out and vote. And so, you know, we took our platform and said we could move an election. If I'm selling millions of records and I'm selling hundreds of thousands in Miami, I take them same people, you know, and get them elected.
Yes.
You know, and if I get them elected, now I'm gonna go sit down with you and say, look, I got a 28-acre park at Charles Hadley Park. You know, the irrigation system hasn't been changed for over 70 years. I need new irrigation system here. While you're running, these are the things I need.
Yes.
You know, so now when you get your ass in that seat, and you ain't got but 4 years, so now you
Don't catch no amnesia now.
Don't catch no. Your ass will be gone.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna remind you. You
Yes.
feel me? And so that's how we were able to get new building at the park, new stadium, and all the different things in the community, because, you know, took the platform and got a part of the political process. And then I upgraded it and say, I want to help all Miami, and then inspire other guys in other cities. You know, then I ran for mayor. It was a special election.
Yes.
You know, I didn't have to spend too much money, get in the race, and with them, right? And so now I'm going to all these meetings and all these town hall meetings with these politicians. I'm like, this gonna lie to you. This gonna lie to you. You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, knowing that I wasn't gonna win, but then I'm building this base. So I have a base of people who vote for me, just like you. You have a base of people, because everybody understands UD is pride, is love for the city, is work hard, is strap your up and go hard for the people. You know, so when you say, look, man, I with you, you know, after the sit down, and people are gonna go and vote for somebody that UD say I because they know him, his face clean. And same thing with me. You know, they know, hey, look, they ain't got no skin in the game. It's about the people. And so that's how we were able to get people elected and get things done at the same time. It's not about just getting a person elected. So anybody that run for office, whether it's the mayor, commissioner, eventually I have to sit down with them and say, you know, what's your platform? But then at the same time, these are the things we need. You know, you ain't just finna tell me what you need. You know, I'm gonna tell you what we need because I'm in the neighborhood every day.
We gotta work together
You know
on
what
this
I'm saying? Yeah, we need some jobs. We need this. No, not these jobs. Now, if you get ready to do some construction, you know, allotment of these jobs need to be given to you know, to our people in the neighborhood. And how we get to that point, we got to get there.
I mean, that's one thing that I realize is, like, it doesn't matter how much success you or I've had, or you, Mike, whatever. Like, for certain things to get done in our communities, we need the blessings of some certain politicians. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter how much success we've had individually or how much money we made to do, so for instance, my affordable housing and different things like that. We can't do those things without the relationships of the certain people in certain positions which have the political pull to get those things done.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and when you my age, you took the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, to the game. His daddy was the mayor, and then he would leave him in the seat with me at the Heat game.
Yes.
And I would have a couple of my dancers.
Wow, that's
sit
crazy.
there while his
Francis
little ass sit there. And Francis would get lap dances while the daddy
Francis my dog, man.
Yeah.
But when you talk about that, that's crazy because that's how the cycle goes, because Francis' father had a relationship with you.
Correct.
And then that trickles down to myself, because I can literally go and sit down with Francis 7 days a week and have a conversation about something that needs to go in the community. But that started with the impact of people like yourself.
Exactly. Then little Keon Hardiman is playing baseball in my program with Sam and playing football. So then now he grows up and he becomes the commissioner. He becomes the chairman of Miami. Now he's big commissioner
And guess what?
in the county.
He signed off on my affordable housing projects. But all this is the impact that trickles down from the relationships and the things that you've done.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
And it you know, when you see the cycle, just like you say,
Yes,
it's a beautiful thing.
Little Francis at the games with the dancers is a great segue for our next segment.
Yeah,
by the way.
and I got the city manager, Joe Ariola. Shouts out to Joe.
I got a question, Killer.
Yeah.
This is my question.
Go for it.
We talked about the beef that you had to deal with in the rap game, and the hurdles. I was there for the West Coast beef where it was the Cowards in Compton song.
Oh, okay.
And I was there for that, the Cowards in Compton, and then Dre them came back with their beef. But I want to go fast forward. We talk about what you and Snoop was able to do in the community when y'all was able to collab with the football and things. So just talk about how that beef ended and how it ended up now, because we're able to like look at that and y'all like collaborating in the community, and like that's like old news now. And it's it ended up being better for everybody in the long run.
Yeah, that's my dog, Snoop. I mean, it's crazy because just like you say, you know, the beef with me and Dre and
I remember that.
and Death Row and him doing a song.
And y'all ain't back down either.
Yeah.
We ain't back down. Y'all the boys ain't back down from the crib now.
No, we ain't back down at all.
Then
we went to Jack the Rapper and we had to touch some people up. And after we touched them, we weren't on that song. You know, they were, you know, Suge was bullying everybody else in the business. Nah, wrong one.
We ain't doing that.
You know, when we eventually ended up becoming friends after that, you know,
with the
after the touching up, you know, in Atlanta.
Don't stand on business down here now.
Yeah.
I keep telling South Beach ain't Miami. But I was gonna think, people see, they used to see, we used to have a show called Miami Vice. Oh, when that shit come on, you see the flamingos and the palm trees and they dressed up in the nice suits and you got the women. Okay, that ain't Miami.
I thought you were Miami Vice when I first saw you at games.
That is not, you ain't think that, Killer. You ain't think that, Killer. You knew that well when we first met there in Billy's office. I wasn't Miami Vice.
I knew right away.
But yeah, talk that cleaned up, man. Y'all clean that shit up and then back down, and then y'all end up being boys. And now it's a collaboration between what they do in LA and what we do in Miami as far as football and bringing the kids and the youth together.
Exactly. I mean, it all of it, you know, it's crazy because.
Why did the beef start first, OG? I need that. Why did the beef start?
The beef started because, you know, I'm beefing with
everybody. Young. I know the songs, but I don't know the history of the beef.
Yeah, I'm beefing with everybody. I'm beefing with Method Man, Red Man, you name it. Eric B, Rakim. I'm beefing with all these. Run DMC because again, we wasn't accepted.
Okay.
But you know, at the same time, we did Cowards in Compton get sprayed and Dade. You know, and
what it was, Killer.
You know,
that's what.
And then it was them. You know,
I mean, when you did that, you knew it was coming, though, right?
Oh yeah,
they made another song.
They made a song, you know, the Dre Day song, and then Snoop blew up off of that song. Yeah. And like I say, fast forward, me and Snoop ended up going to the studio doing songs, but then how the beef actually ended was, you know, I invited them down to Miami. It was the same time. It was 49ers versus Cincinnati Super Bowl game. Okay. I had a suite at the stadium, and I'm like, yo, come on. I'm like really trying to squash the whole East Coast, West Coast because Big is my friend, Pac is my friend. Now, we got this going on. I don't want it to keep escalating. They came down. That's why if you'll see this infamous picture of me and Snoop sitting in the suite. You'll see the Dolphins. back on the back of the wallpaper and all that. And we had this big old powwow, and I just used that moment to then bring in all the dudes from New York who had a problem with Suge Knight and Snoop and all of them, just bringing them all. So we had this sweet, we ain't see no football game.
Yeah.
We was up in there squashing it. And
That's dope, though.
2 minutes, we just knowing that this would end up in a shootout, you know, because they weren't searching nobody at that time. It was something serious in that.
Airline?
Now they had to upgrade it to Soul Plane. Everybody had their own jets then.
That's wonderful.
So we ended up, like I said, we ended up squashing it. And, you know, me and Snoop eventually ended up doing a song.
So dope.
And the day we did the song in L.A. was the day Biggie died.
Yeah.
We were sitting in the studio, man, all of us getting these texts that Big just got shot. And then he died, eventually died that day. God bless his soul.
Damn.
But, you know, we've been friends ever since. I mean, he asked me, how do you do this youth football thing? And, you know, I kind of gave him some pointers, and he started his own youth program.
He loves it,
and
too.
we played, we played games against each other.
Yeah, we play games against them.
Yeah.
So they bring their kids down and
exactly.
they got the
We go up there, and so, you know, it's like, you know, you start out talking about, you know, their city, and they start off talking about our city. We come together, but we try to show that, you know, these are the ways you squash beefs. You know, you don't hold on to that.
Yeah.
You know, you bring communities together, and we was able to bring the kids of Compton come to Miami, and the kids of Miami go to Compton, you know, and all this love amongst kids that probably never would have been able to get on the plane and go that far.
I mean, I think that shows true leadership on your behalf and also on Snoop's behalf, because what I think real, true leaders do is they bring people together. Mm-hmm. They don't separate. They don't divide. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, even though you can say, hey, they play good football here, hey, we play good football here, and you can go back and forth, you brought it together.
Yeah,
it's
through sports.
We can say I'm better than you, and we can go back and forth and argue that all day.
Yep.
Hey,
Let's come together. Let's come together.
Yeah, any shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, let's come together.
Whether it's politics, just come together.
Your story is freaking so dope. It's the Book of Luke. Do you have that on tape? Because I don't read.
Oh, yeah. It's audio book.
You right
my
about that,
voice.
Kelly. I try to read for 5 minutes, I fall asleep. I can't my eyes.
So the Book of Luke, we gotta get it on tape.
No, it ain't just you.
Hey, we got the Book of Luke on tape.
It's like, read a book. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
that's
so the book is the autobiography. It's straight down the line, start to finish.
It's actually my second one. The first one was As Nasty As I Want to Be.
I might need to start with that one.
I'm gonna start.
I think I'm gonna start with that one.
I'm telling you though, your story, man, is unbelievable. This here today is.
I got more questions, Kelly. I ain't done yet.
All right.
There go more. Trick, Pit, just the impact of developing and finding those sounds, because I knew Trick when he first started. He's dancer. Right. I knew Pit when he first started. It was obviously a little more gangster rap, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to what he's doing now. But you saw the evolution from the beginning to where they are now. Just talk about that as well, because obviously you already had to fight for your life to be an artist. So imagine having to fight for somebody else to bring somebody else on. Like,
I mean, you know, the thing about it, you know, even the thing about it when you're doing hip hop from Miami, and there's no such thing as going looking A&R from a major label going to look for, you know, almost like a talent scout. They weren't coming here looking for no talent. So, you know, Pop, you know, Trick Daddy said, hey, my son coming out of jail.
Pops, that's Trick Daddy. Daddy, he also run the clubs too, by the way.
You want to go get your freak on.
Yeah, you see, Pops, yeah.
You go holler at Pops.
Yeah, you holler at Pops.
Hey, let me get that number real quick.
Yeah, holler at Pops.
Yeah, so he told me Trick was coming out of jail, and eventually he came out. Then he ended up staying with me, you know, when he got out. So we stayed at the Grand Condominiums. That's when I had some people in my house, some squatters I was putting out. So we were sitting up in there. Yeah, they changed the law, thank God. And so we, you know, he had this whole book. He just got out of jail. Man, I'm a rapper. And I'm like, oh.
So you were writing while he was in there?
Yeah, he was writing while he was in jail. And I was like, okay, another rapper. All right, good. All right. You know, and so I was like, okay, I'll put you on a song if you win this contest at the Pac Jam on 84th. So we got this big ass
Pac Jam.
contest.
Shout out Pac Jam.
Yeah, and that so he eventually won the contest. Same thing with Pitt. You know, I looked at it like, You know, it was Fat Joe and Big Pun doing big things. You know, New York, these Hispanic rappers, and I was like, my company won't be complete. You know, if I don't
Especially
have
down here in Miami.
Cuban rapper.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
I went on this crusade looking for a Cuban rapper.
Yeah.
You know, who battling? So they gave me this battle tape of him, you know, and I'm looking at this like, you know, I got to take this dude and produce him. You know, battle rappers is almost like, I don't know the difference between street ball and organized ball.
Yeah, I
you
get
know,
it.
Sounds like a good.
Yeah,
sounds like
that's a good analogy.
That's a
though. I
pretty
get
good
that. That's a
yeah,
good
I gotta
analogy.
clean this dude up for you know, mainstream
Yeah.
music. And so we ended up, you know, I ended up discovering Pitt, you know, cleaning up Trick, you know, so bringing Pitt in. Now Pitt hardcore. Both of these street, you know. But I already had my, you know, you know, I was a street dude myself, so I can relate to these. And then I had JT Money, who was
Ooh, the bitchizer.
the bitch.
Yes, sir.
So I had my time with damn JT Money, you know, because you gotta get these dudes to be like, yo, you gotta leave that alone out there. So every
You had to clean him and get him out that street first.
all
yeah.
these Trick,
All these-
yeah, Trick. I'm like, man, that nigga, I'm ready to go kill it, man. I can't be living like this, man. No, you going back to jail, man. I gotta go take some from one of these motherfuckers. I'm like, hold on, calm down. Do you hear your voice? Go in the shower and listen to yourself. You got a unique voice. Same thing with Pitt.
You're
He got
right.
these cornrows.
That voice.
Yeah, that's most of my guys all have a unique voice.
Fun fact: he put me on Trick when I got down to I got to Florida.
Oh, okay.
When I got to
You got your
University-
mind
when I got
right.
to Florida, I was like,
What?
oh, I was hooked on Trick. I
Yes,
love
sir.
Trick.
Yeah, that man. So then I got Pitbull. This in the streets, he got cornrows down his
That's
head.
crazy.
Mr.
to think about.
305.
That's crazy
Yeah,
to
he
think
got
about.
pants sagging like, yo, man, you know.
And to
he-
see
yeah,
Pitt, and to see
Opalaka.
Pitt now,
Taylor
that
suits.
don't even make sense,
Taylor
bro.
suits, clean cut.
That don't even make no
cut.
sense.
Yes,
and,
man.
and that's what people be thinking that they like, oh, that's the rap. I'm like, you don't want to him.
No.
That is the best rapper I've
When he
ever
first
heard
started, it was-
in my life.
Yes.
The best battle rapper. He would undress your ass. I'd be
Listen.
like, don't let the clean face.
Yeah, bro. When he
He
first
is
started, it
dangerous.
was straight gangster.
He
Like,
dangerous.
that shit was spitting. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he got into what he had to get into and what he's into now. And I love the way he's able to do both.
Yep,
Because he's
yep.
able to straddle the line. And both. A lot of rappers can't do both.
I'm just telling you
He's
right now,
able to do
if
both.
you introduce someone to Pitt right now, and you said that version of Pitt, they'd be like, you lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I every now and then, it's Thursday today, I'm going to probably post a picture of him with
Yeah.
his cornrows and standing about pit bulls and all that.
That's
'Cause
hilarious.
that's all he ran around with, pit bulls and you know, he out in Opalaka
Call
traffic.
Chico. He's like
You
Call
know?
Chico.
Yeah, exactly.
Real live, man. I love these
yeah.
stories, man, and I love you taking the time to tell these stories. And obviously, just so many layers to you, and I wanted to cover all those layers. It's one thing to talk about what you did for hip hop, but it's a whole nother thing to talk about what you did for the community, what you do in politics, and obviously what you did for me individually. You know what I'm saying? You set the standard. You've been a legend. You've kept it real. There's not been one time that I reached out to you where I had a question.
Right.
Or anything, and you responded right away. So I appreciate you taking that time, OG, and I appreciate
doubt.
everything you did.
Even though I'm not from Miami, you did stuff for me too. That shirt right there did a lot for me, Coach.
It got your mind
It
right.
got my
Yes,
mind
sir.
right.
It got your mind right.
But before we get out of here, we got the OG advice brought to you by OG Gin. UD, give us OG advice for the day.
I think I would be
OG
honored.
advice?
I'd be honored
Yeah, give you the OG
to
advice.
pass the OG advice to Uncle Luke tonight. Whatever you got for us, I
OG
know it's gonna be a
advice.
gem.
It is gonna be a gem.
OJ, oh man. With what's going on in the world today,
To speak on it.
I mean, Lord, these OG advice. Protect yourself. Nah. Keep your head on the swivel at all times.
Yeah, man. Protect
your head
yourself.
on
Keep
the
your head on the
swivel.
swivel at all
Hey,
times.
keep
And,
your head on
and
the
even
swivel at all
furthermore,
times.
man, stand up and fight for what you believe in.
That's what you got to
If
stand.
it's-
No
if
doubt.
If
And
it's,
head,
if
head,
it's
and
worth having, then it's worth fighting for.
It is worth fighting for, and that it is exactly. I mean, that's what I'm on. I mean, whatever you believe in, whatever you think you want to do, dream high. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a product of that.
Yes, sir.
I'm a kid running around Liberty City, not knowing what the is gonna happen. I'm looking at planes going in the air, saying, "Oh, people ain't in no planes." Never thinking that I would be able to get on the airplane and be able to go where I want to go at, and as long as be the person I am. You know, I always try and tell people, I inspire them to look, dream big.
Yes,
Don't dream small. Think about them 10 million or a billion that you're gonna make, and then go out there and apply yourself.
Man,
you know, and take one.
so good.
You know, build it one brick at a time.
So good. Well, we appreciate you coming in, man.
No doubt,
The
man.
real OG.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes,
real
sir.
OG.
Real OG.
Appreciate
Legend.
you
I
coming
like to say
in, man.
legend in the house.
OG's out. Appreciate you.